What up, YouTube world? Today I'm going to come to you live from my kitchen. I'm not live. Coming to you from my kitchen. And I want to talk about some of the problems that I emotionally deal with here as an expat. When you move to a new country, obviously you're going to come across different cultures, different values, different cultures, different ways of living. And one of the things that I'm having difficulties with is the fact that the way they treat animals here in Tunisia is terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. There's zero respect for animals. It's just, I don't know, ingrained culture, ingrained values, ingrained way of thinking about how animals should be treated, what animals deserve. There are tons of stray cats, tons of stray dogs, lots of them. Along with that, I've seen camels and horses and donkeys that are just almost just not taken care of, not well kept, left out in the sun with no food and water. And granted, I don't know anything about taking care of big animals, but I do know about cats and dogs, and I know that they're totally neglected here. I also know that I've seen animals in the US, big animals, that they're clean, they're taken care of, they're groomed, and I don't see any of that here. When we tried Calibia, one of the things we noticed was that the goats and the livestock there, rather than building fences around their property, they tied the legs of the animals close together so they couldn't run. They could still wander and graze, but they couldn't run. We saw animals tied to trees that looked really unhappy. PETA would have a field day here, but it's just a culture. It's a way of living. I'm not going to change them. I'm not going to be the American martyr who fights for animal rights here. Sorry to say. So how do I deal with that? How do I deal with seeing something that I don't like on a regular basis? Well, it's hard. It's emotionally heartbreaking at times, but I try to remember it's usually a lack of education. It's usually a lack of understanding that leads to cruelties and things like that. So the school system doesn't teach that from a young age. They're not taught that. The adults see it, the adults do it, pass it on to their children. So for me personally, what I do is 80% of the time I try and block it out, try and forget about it, put up a wall so I don't have to deal with it. The rest of the time I try to remember that man, it's hard. It's really hard. I'm not real sure how I deal with it other than just telling myself that it is a lack of education, that I'm not going to be able to change everything. There are groups here that try and help with the stray cat and stray dog problem, but to deal with it, they just euthanize the animals. They just shoot them, which doesn't solve the problem. It's why we do spay and neutering in the U.S. to prevent this from happening. So what do you start a spay and neutering movement here? It's hard when the people don't care. The people want to invest nothing into that. So the only people who care are people like me, people who see it as a problem. So I try, like I said, to remember it's their culture, it's their life, it's their thing. It's not the end of the world. Although it is for these animals, I feel terrible for where they are, the fact that they're born here. But, I guess it's with any other bad thing that happens in the world, you can't stop it all. It is going to happen. At least it's animals, it's not people. I don't see animal cruelty here, or I don't see people cruelty here. So it's a bleeding heart. I feel really bad. The stray dogs are usually aggressive, so you can't even go up and give them attention, give them love. There's rabies. There's fleas, ticks, all the things that come along with feral animals. So you don't really want to just go and touch them either. So you're put in a hard position. I've thought about buying dog food and putting it out, which I may still do, but it doesn't solve the problem at all. Maybe prolongs a miserable life for an animal. But mainly what I do is, like I said, I block it out, or I try to remember that it's a lack of education and that there's really, as a whole, there's nothing I can do. So on individual basis, I give my scraps to the local cats that I see around here, and that's where I leave it. I've thought about dog food and stuff, but really the dogs aren't directly in my neighborhood. They're just when I'm out and about in my adventures that I see them. So, you know, it's a problem, and wherever you go in the world, you probably see problems, various different kinds, of various different sorts. And my advice is just be thankful that you're able to experience that. Be thankful that you have a compassionate heart to recognize that it is a problem. Ignorance is bliss, but you know, knowledge is key, I guess. Everybody I see, I tell them that this is wrong, whether they agree with it or not. I express my views, and maybe I'll tell the right person who can help me make some real change. But until then, you know, there's going to be problems and there's going to be bad things, like I say. So hopefully I can give the advice that you prepare yourself. If you're going to be an expat, if you're going to go into another country, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself to deal with something that you can't change and you can't make better, because it's a bigger problem than you. And you could probably dedicate your life, but like I said, I'm not going to be that expat martyr to try to change things here. I just do my very small part and hope that it has butterfly effect in the long term. Not to say that there aren't people here who do good things. I know that there have got to be people who care and are compassionate about their animals. I just haven't found them yet. Have a great day. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep watching. Enjoy the expat life.